that can come no further, though all else is wrapped as with all man's, also heavy are the heavens of snow. Even thus thickly did the stones fall on one side and on the other, some thrown at the Trojans and some by the Trojans at the Athenians, and the whole wall was in a roar. Still the Trojans and brave Hector would not yet have broken down the gates in great war, had not Zeus turned his son Sarpedon against the Argives, as a lion against a herd of horned cattle. Before him he held his shield of hammered bronze that the smith had beaten so fair and round, and had laid with ox hides, which he had made fast of rivets of gold all round the shield. This he held in front of him. Brandishing his two spears came on like some lion of the wilderness, whom he has been long famished, for ones of meat will dare break even into a well-fenced homestead to try and get at the sheep. He may find the shepherds keeping watch over their flocks like dogs and spears, but he is in no mind to be driven from the fold, or be hit by the spear from the strong hand. Even so, Sarpedon feigned to attack the wall and break down its battlements. Then he said to Galactus, son of Hippolochus, Malicus, why does Lycia do we receive special honor as regards our place at table? Why are the choicest portions served us our cups kept brimming, and why do men look up to us as though we were gods? Moreover, we hold a large estate by the banks of the river Xanthus, fair with orchard lawns, and wheat growing land. It becomes us therefore to take our stand at the head of the Lycians, and bear brunt of the fight, that one may say to another, our princes in Lycia eat the fat of the land and drink best of wine, but they are fine fellows. They fight well and are ever at the front in battle, my good friend. If when we were once out of this fight, we would escape old age, death, henceforward and forever. I should neither press forward myself nor bid you do so. The death in 10,000 shapes hangs over ever our heads, and no man can elude him. Therefore let us go forward and either win glory for ourselves or yield it to another. Gallicus headed his saying, and prepare forthwith to let of the host of the Lycians. Menesippus, son of Petios, was dismayed when he saw them, for it was against this part of the wall that they came, bringing destruction with them. He looked along the wall from the chieftain to support his comrades, and saw the two Ajaxes, men ever eager for the fray. Teucer, who had just come from his tent, standing near them, but he could not make his voice heard by shouting to them. So great an uproar was there from crashing shields and helmets and battering of gates with a din which reached the skies, where all the gates had been closed, and the Trojans were hammering at them to try and break their way through them. Menesippus therefore sent Brutus a message to Ajax, run good Brutus, and he said, call Ajax, or better still, bid both come, for it will be all over with us here directly. The leaders of the Lycians are upon us, men who have ever fought desperately heretofore, but if the pair have too much on their hands, to let them come. At any rate, let Ajax and Telamon do so, and let Teucer, the famous bowman, come with him. The messenger did as he was told, and set off running along the wall of the Athenians, where reached the Ajaxes. He said to them, sirs, princes of Argogs, the son of the noble Theseus, bids you come to him for a while and help him. You had better both come, if you can, or it will be all over of him directly. The leaders of the Lycians are upon him, men who have ever fought desperately heretofore. If you too much on your hands, let both come. At any rate, let Ajax, son of Telamon, do so, and let Teucer, the famous bowman, come with him. Great Ajax, son of Telamon, heeded the message, and at once spoke to the son of Oileus. Ajax said he, do you too, yourself brave like Amenides, stay here and keep the Dons in hard to fight their hardest. I will go over yonder and bear my part in the fray, but I will come back here at once, as soon as I have given them the help they need. With this Ajax, son of Telamon, set off, and Teucer, his brother by the same father, went also the Pandions and carried Foster's bow, and they went along inside the wall, and when they came to the tower where Menesippus was, and hard pressed indeed did they find him. The brave captains and leaders of the Lycians were storming the battlements, as it were a thick dark cloud, fighting in close quarters and raising the battle cry aloud. First Ajax, son of Telamon, killed brave Epicles, a comrade of Sarpedon, hitting him with a jackstone that lay by the battlements at the very top of the wall. As men now are, even one who is the bloom of youth could hardly lift it with two hands, but Ajax raised it high aloft and flung it down, smashing Epicles' four crested helmet, so that the bones of his head were crushed to pieces. He fell from the high wall as though he were diving, with no more life left in him. Then Teucer wounded Gallicus, the brave son of Hippolochus, as he was coming on to attack the wall. He saw his shoulder, there aimed an arrow at it, which made Gallicus leave off fighting. Thereon he sprang covertly down into fear some of the Athenians might see that he was wounded in tandem. Sarpedon, the son was in grief when he saw Gallicus leave him. Still he did not leave off fighting, but aimed his spear at Alcmaeon, the son of Hephaestor, and hit him. He drew his spear again, and Alcmaeon came down headlong after it with his bronze armor rattling round him. Then Sarpedon seized the battlements in his strong hands and tugged at it till it all gave way together, and reached was made through which was many might pass. Ajax and Teucer, then both of them attacked him. Teucer hit him with an arrow on the band that bore the shield that covered his body, but Zeus saved his son from destruction and might not fall to ship's sterns. Meanwhile Ajax sprang on him and pierced his shield, but the spear did not go clean through, though it hustled him back that he could not no further. He furthermore retired a little space from the battlements, yet without losing all his ground, for he still thought to cover himself with glory. And then he turned round and shouted to the brave Lycians, saying, Lycians, why do you thus fail me? For all my prowess I cannot break through the wall and open a way to the ships single-handed. Come close on behind me, for the more there are of us the better. The Lycians, shamed by his rebuke, pressed close around him, who was their counselor and their king. The Argives on their part got the men in the fighting order within the wall, and there was a deadly struggle between them. The Lycians could not break through the wall and force their way to the ships, nor could the Danaans drive the Lycians from the wall, now that they had once reached it. As two men measuring rods in hand, quarreling about their boundaries in a field, have they own in common, and the sickle for their rights, though they be but in mere strip. Even so do the battlements now serve as a bone of contention, and they beat one another's round shields for their possession. Many a brave man's body was wounded with a his bronze as he turned round and bared his back to the foe, and many were struck clean through their shields. The many, the wall, the battlements were everywhere deluged with their blood alike the Trojans and Achaeans, but even so Trojans could not rout the Ugians, who still held on, and as some honest, hard-working woman weighs wool of her balance and sees that the scales be true, where she would gain some pitiful earnings for her little ones, even so was the fight balanced evenly between them till the time came when Zeus gave the greater glory to Hector, son of Priam, who was first to spring towards the wall of the Ugians. When he had done so, he cried aloud to the Trojans, "Up, Trojans! Break the wall of the Argives and fling fire upon their ships." Thus did he hound them on, and in one body they rushed straight at the wall as they had bidden them, and sailed the battlements, both with sharp spears in their hands. Hector laid hold of a stone that lay just outside the gates, was thick at once and pointed at the other. Two of the best men in town, as men now are, could hardly raise it from the ground and put it on to a wagon, but Hector lifted it quite easily by himself, for the son of the scheming Cronus had made it a light for him, as a shepherd picks up a ram's fleece with one hand and finds it no burden. So easily did Hector lift the great stone and drive it right at the doors that closed the gate so strong, so firmly set. These doors were double and high, and were kept closed by the two crossbars, to which there was but one key. When he had got close up to them, Hector strode towards them, that his blow might gain in force and strike them in the middle. Leaning his whole weight against them, he broke hinges, and the stone fell inside by reason of its great weight. The portals re-echoed with the sound, the bars held no longer, and the doors flew open, one way or another, the other, through the force of the blow. Then the brave Hector leaped inside, with a face as dark as that of a flying knight. The gleaming bronze flashed fiercely about his body, and he had two spears in his hand. None but a god could have withstood him, as he flung himself into the gateway, and his eyes glared like fire. Then he turned round towards the Trojans, and called on them to scale the wall, and they did as he bade them, some of them at once climbing over the wall, while others passed through the gates. The Danaans then fled, panic-stricken towards their ships, and all was uproar and confusion.